Hi, so first of all, I wanted to start by saying how absolutely excited I am to be a part of this project. So I'll start by giving a real brief overview of my experience prior to being trafficked with discrimination, being a part of the gay community. I knew who I was, I'd say by the age of 13. I definitely knew who I was attracted to. I also knew at an early age what my passions in life were. I definitely had a passion for the arts, music, acting. It was an amazing way for me to get out self-expression, healing. It was an awesome tool for me. So as a person of faith also, I was able to combine the two. So I got involved in church, youth group. Obviously at the time, I was able to sing. Obviously, I couldn't be an out the closet lesbian and be in youth group. So very early on, I had to hide. I learned how to hide who I was. That's what I was taught to do by the church. So that's what I became. As I grew up, things changed a little bit. I was actually asked to step down from positions because of who I was. Because of previous traumas in my life as a teenager, I was more susceptible to addictions, and I got involved with drugs and alcohol. And by the time I was in my early 20s, I went in jail, and that's where I met my trafficker. I met my trafficker in a program in the jail. At the time, they called it the faith-based dorm. So it was supposed to be one of the safer places within the facility. So I went to the place that was the safest, that I thought I would at least do something with myself while I was serving time. And that's where I started getting groomed by my trafficker. Outside of incarceration, my trafficker, she spent a year grooming me. I thought I was in a relationship with this person, and that wasn't the case. So going into when the time began where I was actually being trafficked and I could not leave, my identification as a lesbian was absolutely used to exploit me. First, it was used to reel me in by her, and then it was used to bring in buyers, people that were specifically looking for certain things. It was used to bring in couples or, other women that were looking to fulfill certain needs. So it was definitely targeted. I remember in the beginning, the first couple years, that it was very specific. Coming out of the life, I was with this person and her family for approximately 10 years on and off, because there were periods of incarceration and court-ordered programs and things of that nature. A lot of times it was a lot easier for the system to say, oh, here's just an addicted person, an addicted repeat offender, rather than really acknowledge what was going on, right, and deal with the bigger picture. So I would keep getting court-ordered into rehabs, but there would never be an extended period of sobriety or healing, because we weren't dealing with what was really going on, right? So the cycle would always continue, because that's what happens with trauma. So coming out of the life, when I first I did go into a faith-based program, and because of who was running it at the time, and I think also just the way the world maybe was, it didn't matter who you loved then, it didn't matter who you were. There wasn't any stigmas that I remember. You could be in a faith-based place and be gay, but it's not how things are these days. So I'm seeing survivors not make it because doors are being closed. So what's happening is you've got survivors who, in a sense, are being denied services. So we're taking a person's sexuality and denying them a lifetime of healing simply because of who they love. Because that's really what it is. Because the only way a person is going to be able to sit through a program, safe house, whatever title you want on it, and heal, is if they adjust to what your program is asking of them. You're asking them to change their entire person. You're asking them to change who they love. That is the biggest problem I'm seeing right now when it comes to receiving services and being a part of the gay community. I hope that we can turn those things around. I hope that part of this, we can come together somehow and we can open homes that make them LGBTQ plus friendly, but that you also, again, don't have to necessarily be a part of that community to come into them. Everyone's welcome, right? All people, all faiths, all colors, all religions, all everything. All are welcome here, right? Unity in the community. Be well.